Hey there guys, Marissa here. Today is January 10th and it is my first hike of the year. I'm a little sad that this is the first time I'm getting out on trail, and it's going to be a pretty short hike today. Things have been a little crazy since I have moved back home to Georgia. Of course, we had the holidays, started back to work, and then my dad actually had bypass surgery a couple days after Christmas. He's been in the hospital for the last 2 weeks, just recovering, but he got to come home a couple days ago, which is really exciting. So he's continuing his recovery process at home. So hoping things will start to even out and I can have a little bit more time. But yeah, things have just been a little busy. So today's hike is kind of special because I'm actually back on my college campus. So I'm hiking up to the House of Dreams today on Berry College campus. The House of Dreams was built by Berry students for the founder, Martha Berry. But it's kind of interesting that today's video is taking place here because today I intend to talk about my why for hiking the Appalachian Trail. And you know, when you're back at your old college campus, it kind of brings up some old feelings and memories, and just thinking about where you thought you would be at this point in your life when you were in college. And well, for me, things don't really look the way I thought they would, and that plays a part in my why for doing this trail. Doing this hike today is actually a bit of a personal redemption. After I graduated college, I went through an episode of situational depression. There was a lot going on. I got let go from my first job post-grad. I couldn't find another job. I was dealing with unemployment, and I wasn't able to renew my lease. I had to move back in with my parents. In addition to that, I was kind of flunking out of a few of my grad school classes. Things just weren't really going my way, and I gained a lot of weight during that time. I was about 70 pounds heavier than I had been most of my life, and I remember during that period coming out here to do this hike up to the House of Dreams and struggling so much and really beating myself up about it at the time, because I knew I wanted to do the AT and I couldn't even do this basic trail I had done a million times, and I really started to doubt my ability to ever do this trail. And so over the last couple of years, I've really been prioritizing my health, and I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm sure the trail will help me get there. But I'm definitely the strongest I've ever been, and I'm so proud of myself for not letting the fear that I had and just those negative emotions keep me from working towards this goal. All right. So, what is my why? Why is it that I am deciding to embark on this journey at this time? Um, I know there are plenty of people who think you probably have to be crazy or desperate in order to do something like this, and maybe that's true. But it is always something that I've wanted to do. Since the moment I first heard of the Appalachian Trail, it was a challenge that I wanted to attempt, despite the fact I had no idea what that meant. At that point, I had probably just started hiking and hadn't been backpacking for sure. And I haven't really been backpacking all that much since then. I am a bit of a novice. I took a class in college. We went on a backpacking trip, but I just never got the gear, never made that step. And I also never really had people in my life who were interested in hiking or backpacking. And I didn't want to do it alone. And that's a big part of my why. So, this summer, when I first decided that I wanted to try and hike the Appalachian Trail this upcoming year, I didn't give myself a lot of time, but I started thinking about it very seriously. And I honestly didn't think I would be able to pull it off. I didn't think I would get the finances. I didn't think I would get the gear, but I was determined to the point where I actually decided I would do this one way or the other. I would start hiking, and if I ran out of money, I would turn around and I would come home. I started thinking of every single way to make money. I was looking into how to make money on the internet, taking surveys, doing all sorts of random stuff. I was already working 2 jobs. I really started dog sitting as well. And, the AC wasn't working in my car, but I decided once it got cool enough, I would start door dashing, whatever it took. I was going to get the funds to do this trip. I was determined. And I didn't end up having to work that hard. A trip that I had already had planned fell through, and I was fortunate enough to get that money back. And so, that and the dog sitting money, I ended up having what I needed, and now I'm just saving up a little extra, giving myself some cushion. But I'm so thankful that everything worked out. But before it became clear that I was going to actually do this trail, I found this book, Appalachian Trials, and I read it digitally at first because that was how I had access to it. And, Zach really talks about defining your why and having that established and being able to turn back to it when the trail gets tough is a really good way to continue to stay motivated on the trail. So I've already read this book once. I am currently reading through it again, and this time knowing that I will be doing the trail and really working on defining my why. So I kind of addressed this in my announcement video, but as I mentioned, I was living in Florida before. I lived there for about 2.5 years. And I moved down there because I needed a change of pace and I was hoping to start fresh. The reason I chose Florida was because I knew people there and it was safe. But Florida was never really the place for me, and I didn't really want to be there. I was hoping to find a reason to stay, and I found incredible friends, and I am so thankful for that. But I didn't find the place that I hoped to. I didn't find a job that I loved. I went there and was pursuing a career that I was really passionate about, applied for a few jobs, but didn't get chosen. And the last time that I came home to visit, I was still glad that I moved. I knew that this wasn't the place that I wanted to be, but I also wasn't really looking forward to going back to Florida because I knew that really wasn't where I wanted to be either. And I thought about, why didn't I move to a place that I wanted to be? I've always kind of wanted to live in either East Tennessee or Western North Carolina. Um, but I didn't move there because I didn't know anyone. And I was nervous to go somewhere and start fresh and not have the safety net of familiar people. So I wanted a fresh start. I wanted to move somewhere. I wanted to live and maybe pursue a degree in order to get the job that I wanted. If I even still wanted it, I wasn't sure that that was something that I wanted anymore. Um, and so part of my reason for hiking this trail is because I'm in a transition period. I have no commitments, I have nothing stopping me. And before I start a new career or move to a new place, why not take advantage of this time? But also, I want to gain from this trail. I want this journey to show me that I can do things, even if I don't know anyone, that I will meet people along the way and that I am capable of figuring things out on my own. And I'm hoping that this will give me the confidence to, you know, not be safe, but to do something that I want, regardless of whether or not it's easy. Pardon my bright orange Muppet fleece. I had to layer up, it was getting a bit chilly. But this past summer, I also realized that there were just a lot of things in life that I hadn't done because I was scared to do them alone. I wasn't hiking the Appalachian Trail because I wanted someone to do it with me. I wasn't traveling to all the countries that I hope to see one day because I didn't have a travel partner. I hoped to one day, I really have a passion for vulnerable children and family preservation. I hope to one day foster in some capacity, if that's just emergency placement or respite care, or if I do become a full-time foster parent. But I was scared to do that because I didn't want to do it alone. And I came to the conclusion that I was tired of living my life waiting for someone else to do things with me. I didn't want my life to operate on the timetable of someone else, of some imaginary person that may not even exist. I didn't want fear to hold me back any longer. And not just my own fear, but also the fear of others. Because I've since come to a place where I am ready to do things on my own. I am ready to have these adventures, even if I don't have someone to do them with. But I know that the people who love me are scared. I know that my parents and my friends don't want me to do things alone. But ultimately, I can't live my life in fear because of someone else. And I don't want to rely on having to wait for someone else to decide to join me to do the things I want to do. Because then I'll spend my entire life sitting still, sad, and lonely instead of doing the things that I want. I also hope that by doing this trail, I instill more confidence in myself. Over the last few years, life just didn't go according to plan. I went to college and I haven't really had a job that I love. They tell you to go and get your degree and then everything will be fine. And I think my generation has really seen that that's not always the case. I graduated from this beautiful college with honors, and most of my time post-graduation, I've been working in retail or the restaurant industry or being a secretary. But I'll be turning 30 this year on the trail, And when I look at my life, I don't really see what I thought that I would see. And it kind of starts to make you question, am I capable of doing the things that I want to do? Am I capable of getting a job that I, will really love and enjoy? And over the years, I've just lost some of my confidence in myself. Once upon a time, I was a very headstrong, determined girl. Um, I'm going to tell this story not to brag because it's nothing to brag about, but just to illustrate the way that I used to be and how I hope to be again one day. When I was in third grade, I first heard what a valedictorian was, and I decided in that moment I was going to be it. And my parents were supportive, but they will admit that they didn't really believe it to be possible. I had good grades, but I didn't have the best grades, and they were just kind of like, yeah, sweetie, sure, you can do it. But I decided that I was going to. And then I also was a pretty sick kid. I missed a lot of school, and there were some people on the school board that thought that I wouldn't graduate because I missed a lot of school because I was sick. And I wanted to prove them wrong too. So I did. I was valedictorian when I graduated high school. And I just want to find that girl again. The girl who hears of something, decides she's going to do it, and does it. And so when I was a teenager, I heard about the Appalachian Trail. I decided I was going to do it, and I want to be that girl again that does what she says she's going to do, even if it's hard, even if it seems impossible. Another reason I intend to do this trail is because, just to preface, I am a Christian, and I know that may make some of you feel some type of way, but I'm not here to preach at you. I am just here to be my authentic self, and part of that is my faith is part of who I am. But I'll keep it pretty short. I had a rough year, and I started to struggle in my faith. I never stopped believing in God, but I did stop believing that He had good things for me. And I'm hoping that on this trail I can restore that belief, but also grow closer to Him, because I'll have a lot of time in His creation. But I'll leave it to that. So I guess just to summarize, the things that I want out of this trail are, I want an adventure. I want to pursue a dream that I've had for a really long time. I want to restore my confidence in myself. I want to find that headstrong, determined girl that I used to be. I want to assess what I want out of life and where I'm going to go next. And I want to prove to myself that I can do new things and go to new places, even if I don't know anyone there. Ultimately, I don't want fear to hold me back from living a life that I love and enjoy and doing the things that I've always wanted to do. All right, well, thank you guys for joining me on this little walk in the woods, my old alma mater, Berry College, going up to the House of Dreams. So interesting, I used to be a tour guide when I was a student here, and I would bring groups up here and show them around. So it was cool getting to come back and visit and be a little vulnerable with you guys and talk about, what it is that is motivating me on this trail, and what I will look back to when I'm having those hard moments on trail, and remind myself what it is I'm doing this for. But I'm looking forward to, now that life has calmed down a little bit, getting on trail more, practicing, using my gear, training in the hills. It's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to it this weekend. I am meeting a former thru hiker. We have a mutual friend, so we're going to talk about her experience a little bit. That's going to be pretty cool. And then I'm also going to be meeting a friend who may join me for a section of trail. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.